everyone, my name is Monica Gara and I will share some pieces of information about global warming. We all must have known the impacts of global warming. Those impacts are very harmful to all living things on Earth. It turns out that there are lots of facts and information about global warming, such as the causes and dangers of global warming that many people don't know yet. To know more about global warming, let's check out these facts about global warming. Global warming is a form of ecosystem imbalance on Earth due to the increasing average temperature of atmosphere, sea, and land on Earth. Global warming has caused many changes to the Earth ecosystem, like climate change. These changes have many negative impacts to all living things on Earth. Melting ice in Greenland is one of the causes of global warming. The ice in Greenland has warmed twice as fast compared to other ice sheets on Earth. If the ice in Greenland keeps melting, there will be many islands that will drown because Greenland has the second biggest ice sheet on Earth after Antarctica. Apart from the melting ice in Greenland, science also proves that there are many marine biodas that immigrate to the Arctic region to avoid warming temperatures. Carbon dioxide or CO2 plays a big role in climate change that occurs on Earth. The remains of burning fossil fuels that are used for transportations, industrial activity, and electricity productions can produce CO2 gas, which will then gather in the atmosphere and make the Earth temperature warmer every year. CO2 level that keeps increasing harms the continuity of the Earth. The cause of global warming can't be separated from the lifestyle and activities carried out by humans from year to year since the industrial era. The following are some of the causes of global warming caused by human activities. The first one is transportations. The vehicles that many people use needs fossil fuels. When the fossil fuels gives energy to the vehicle engine will release carbon and other pollutants, so the air quality of the Earth will decrease. The second one is industrial activity. Industrial activity is the starting point of a massive increase in temperature from year to year. Almost every country that is industry-based contributes to carbon gas on a large scale. Carbon content produced as a result of industrial activity is 412 parts per million in the last 150 years. The third one is excessive use of electricity. Producing electricity requires fuel which will then release many kinds of gas like carbon dioxide. All forms of power generator have an impact on the air. And the last one is deforestation. Land clearing by burning for residential and industrial areas causes a greenhouse effect and a reduced number of trees that can absorb carbon dioxide. Amazon and Indonesia forests are the largest contributors in the world, which worsen global warming and climate change. The sun has a very hot surface and radiates light or energy down towards the Earth. In the sunlight, there's an infrared or electromagnetic wave that can only be absorbed by carbon dioxide, methane, and water vapor. When the infrared comes with a certain energy, the CO2 molecule will absorb the energy and then experience vibration. After absorbing and holding the energy, CO2 will reflect the light back to Earth. Some of the light is reabsorbed by other gas molecules in the atmosphere, and some of the light is reflected back to space. The process of light absorption by CO2 gas molecule is what keeps the Earth warm. Without this process, the Earth will be cooler everywhere. But because CO2 can absorb and hold heat at the Earth's atmosphere, millions of tons of fossil fuels that are burned every day make global warming worse. The following is a data on increase of Earth temperature and CO2 gas emission from 2010 until 2019. Based on the two data before, it can be seen that every year CO2 gas emissions have increased from 2010 to 2019. Earth temperature also increases every year. From these two data, it can be seen that the more CO2 gas emissions increase, the Earth's temperature will also increase. Each year, the average increase in CO2 is 0.9 times 10 subscribed by 9 tons, and the average increase is equivalent to 0.25 times 10 subscribed by 9, or 250 million Boeing 747 LCF aircraft. As an adult Christian students, we can do many things to prevent global warming from getting worse every year. We can let the people closest to us, for example, our family and friends, to know that God wants us to protect and preserve the nature of His creation. Disposing of trash in its place, recycling, and conserving energy are some of the things we can do to protect and preserve God's creation. Indonesia focuses on the objectives of the Paris Agreement, where in 2020 it is expected that CO2 gas emissions can be reduced by 26%, and in 2030 it will reach 29% or even up to 41% if supported by the international community. To encourage the reduction of CO2 emissions, Indonesia focuses on three aspects that affect the increase of CO2 emissions. Actions that will be taken are preventing deforestation and doing reforestation, improving the quality of the water and air environment, improving agricultural productivity without having to expand land, and encouraging renewable energy and energy conservation. Efforts made by the government are by the value of Pancasila in the fourth precept. From what we know, the fourth precept reads population led by the wisdom of wisdom in representative deliberations. The fourth precept indicates that the leaders of a country must be wise in taking action to advance their country. The public must have an awareness of the current condition of the earth. In this case, the concept of social movement is very important to mobilize the mass to become more concerned with the issue of global warming. The issue of global warming has become a social problem, so it is very important to continue to have campaign. By making global warming a social problem, it will raise awareness in society that global warming is a part of a social problem. There are many things that companies can do to solve the problem of global warming. Here are some things that they can do. The first one is be transparent. All large companies should measure and disclose greenhouse gas emissions publicly. Thousands of companies have already done this, but it is worth recalling. For climate warriors, transparency provides a frame of reference regarding the limits we can achieve and the improvements that need to be made. The next one is setting science-based targets. More than 460 large companies are committed to aligning their greenhouse gas emissions target with global targets to keep global warming below 2 degrees Celsius, which is known as science-based targets. Progress in emissions targets will benefit when companies are required to set science-based targets in all key areas of environmental impact. And the last one is mutually beneficial public policy and advocacy. When businesses set ambitious science-based greenhouse gas targets, governments get massive political backing for setting ambitious climate policies. When the government establishes effective and clear policies to support innovations to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, business actors get greater certainty and incentive to invest. This is an opportunity to create a cycle of ambition that will accelerate growth in a clean, low-carbon economy. Earth conditions continue to get worse every year. Some of the activities that we carry out have many negative impacts to the Earth ecosystem. God has given us the Earth in a good and comfortable way to live in, but instead we only make the Earth condition worse and didn't take care of it. We must all know that if the Earth conditions continue to get worse, we will also feel the impact. So we have to start trying to protect the Earth by reducing the use of carbon dioxide.